Hello my friends, and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm going to show you a few things. This is going to be how I store some of my dry goods that is not meant for my non-working pantry. So let me show you this because I thought this was a really good investment. What do you think about this shelf? I had bought this shelf, and that it's like a farmhouse shelving, I think, but it didn't come with the wood. So we're just using regular wood that we had, and then I will maybe get something different, maybe not, but let me make you taller and show you this right here. So let me just raise you up. Okay, so these are my containers right here. I'm just trying to get you adjusted with this tripod of mine. Gotta love it. Okay. These are my X and O's, or OXO. Yeah, OXO. Duh. And I want to show you how I store things. So in this particular size here, I store my semolina. This is everything that's used for upstairs. This is my cornmeal. This is a habit for me. I do this all the time. I don't like to write on my containers. I'm not really into the chalkboard stickers because the stickers leave this tacky. Yeah, so I didn't like that. So what I do is whatever I put in the container, I will just put the tag right in there with it so that I know what it is. And this so happens to be Italian semolina. These are the way these lids open, which I love because one-handed you could do it, and it really does lock and keep everything nice and fresh. So that is my semolina. This is my corn flour. Let me see. Yeah, this is for my cornbread. This is the other size that I have. And let me see what this one is because I don't really remember. This is my whole wheat flour right there. I have two different types of semolina. This is Aputo from Italy semolina. And I have another semolina back there, but we'll get into that. This is not an OXO. I don't know if you guys were hearing all that scratching, but it's like the dogs always decide to clown around when I go and do a video. Gotta love it. So right now I'm just showing you the OXOs. I just told you this is my whole wheat. This one back here is one of their bigger containers. This is my bread flour. I have a few of the X and O's. Not enough, believe me. I definitely need more. Let me talk to you about these containers. I don't even remember the name. I got them at TJ Maxx, if I'm not mistaken. See how the lid is different? Here's one behind me I just moved. This is all-purpose flour. And this is how you do these lids. I think I showed this on a live when I bought these, but you pop it open. I liked them, but I also received one where it just will not. See how that locks? I have one in the pantry that the lock's broken on it. And I never have that problem when it comes to my OXOs. And I just love them. But I did buy a few of them because I thought, I don't know what I was thinking. I probably should have just stuck with the OXOs, but I'm going to get more. But here's another one of those containers. But if you don't get a broken one like I did, it does really hold up. So this is a different semolina flour. This is an OXO one I just told you that has the bread flour in it. And then I think I may have gotten these at Target. It has a, see if I could do it. It has the air pop on the top, and you just lock it. Let me think what's in here. I can see the, okay, I'm gonna have to take it off. And this is why I like my OXOs. Just a little easier to get the lids open on the OXOs. But this is a bread flour, which is strange. I thought I already had a bread flour. And then I have cake flour in this other size one right here. So what is the point of this? This is be giving you a little tour of how I store my dry goods. Now, if I had to say, what would I recommend? It's definitely these OXOs. These are absolutely great. They're locked airtight. Like I said, this is my yellow cornmeal. I just love them. And they just push it down and it's completely locked. I don't remember the name brand of this one, and this is just one I think that Target carried. But that is one way that I store my dry goods. Now, things like this, I dehydrate it. I don't see a lot of people talking about when it comes into the prepping and preparing. Everyone's all gung-ho about, you know, the freeze dryer. And I'm not saying it because I dislike it. I just think they're overly priced. And if the grid was to go down, you're not going to be using your air fryer. And I mean, not your air fryer. Oh my goodness. If the grid was to go down, you're not going to be using that anyway. So I think dehydration needs to be more of an emphasis. This is just some dehydrated apples that I did on my dehydrator. No, I don't have an Excalibur. I just have a regular dehydrator. This right here is some dehydrated berries. So I also do a lot of storage in my jars. Extra assorted nuts. This is, and these are great. These are those ball canning lids. You know, so you don't have to use the metal ones. This is, which I have a bunch. I just need to fix the lids. This is, see how great that looks? It's fantastic. This is sun-dried tomatoes. Back there is cranberries. Let's see. I have the rest of the assorted nuts that didn't fit in that jar in this littler jar with the same type of ball lid. And then I have these that I used to use as a decoration in my living room. Like a knick-knack type thing, because I've been in the mason jars, any shape, size, whatever, for years and years. But this is how I store pecans. This is extra cranberries right here, M&Ms and pecans, because the holidays, we didn't blow through it all. And then back here, I purchased these. I love these. These are big mason jars with the locks. Listen. Like, it's real hard. Like, it's just airtight. I have, what is this one? Chocolate chips. White chocolate chips. Whole thing of walnuts. And then I have dark chocolate chips and that one right there. So that's how I store chocolate chips, nuts. Okay. In this, it does good. I am probably going to take half of this out because if you know, I've been trying to work on my freezers. I'm probably going to take half of these nuts out, maybe just leave a quarter in here, even though I like it when my jars are full. And these were very recently bought, so I really don't have to worry right now. But just a tip, if you don't think you're going to use all your nuts, they should go inside your freezer so they don't go rancid. So dark chocolate chips, walnuts, we have pecans, we have cranberries, more pecans, white chocolate chips, M&Ms, and yeah, the semi-chocolate chips. So I absolutely love those glass jars, and I love these containers in order to store some of my dry goods. So as I was saying, this is just kind of how I like to store them. I don't know if you'll be able to see. I'm still working on the kitchen. Y'all know I just moved in here and I'm not really moved in. This is just some things that came here in the beginning, but there's a whole storage unit. But let's see if I can kind of show you up here. I have, that's how I keep my onions. I have the bigger ball, like now this is Kerr, I think it is. Mason jars. You can use for liquids. I have a real big one in the back for my iced tea back there. And then let's go over on this side. And I'm going to use the bread, because we're not going through it, to make homemade breadcrumbs. But I have glass jars for Powdered sugar. I have a recipe on how I make my own powdered sugar. That's more flour. That's a real big one. I was really into the glass jars. And then it just became super duper heavy. This is what I mean by super duper heavy. This is my sugar. This holds 25 pounds. And lifting it up and down can be a bit much on someone. It gets really, really heavy. Of course, it's right here near the KitchenAid. And then behind that, I have my brown sugar that I make. I am going to do a video on that for the channel as well. So I like glass over any type of plastic. But as long as the plastic doesn't have that chemical, I can't think of the name, then I will use it. I do like the OXOs. I know a lot of people like the containers that snap on 4 sides. I kind of don't. And that's because I always need an extra hand. And I just think using the OXOs is so much easier. Just keeps everything so fresh. Good to go. This one's not too bad, this type, but I wouldn't buy any more of these. I think when I get more of the OXOs, I'm going to transfer what is in these, and you just use these in my pantry because my pantry still isn't done yet, keeping it real. But I really like the glass and using mason jars. I also have these I use for peppercorns, things like that. Kosher salt. This is a big one. And then back there's a whole thing of pink Himalayan salt. And that's kind of how I keep my stuff just up in the kitchen so that it doesn't spoil and it stays a lot fresher. The glass jars, they're heavy. But I absolutely love storing my stuff in these types of containers. The OXO, like I said, is my favorite. And I want to get more. Now, I do have some of the other brand. I took the wrapping off of it so quickly that I'm really sorry. I can't tell you the name. But I think... Okay, next time I go to TJ Maxx, I will see if they have it. And I'll get the name of the ones that lock and unlock with this little lever. So, yeah. And then I also keep my tea bags. Don't mind, I was Windexing. I also keep my tea bags in a glass jar with the lids. And that's the same thing I do with my sugar and everything. So, I got a few questions on how I store my herbs, which I will do a separate video on that. And how I store flowers, things like that for my kitchen. And this is exactly how I store it. Now, down in the basement, that's a different story. Everything is either in glass or it's in the food buckets, the food grade buckets. I actually have to get more of the food grade buckets. I'm by far done here, but you know, a little bit at a time. But I will be doing a tour of my pantry, not my pantry, my spice cabinet, because everyone wants to see how I do that. And I also want to show you everything that I preserved or turned into a spice, or like all the herbs that I got from out of my garden for 2021. So I didn't straighten anything up to make this look fabulous for the video. No, I believe in just keeping it real. So needless to say, these are great. Like I said, I absolutely love them. And these are stackable. You can just put that one there. Put the other one on top. Just push it back. But I didn't kind of have it like that because my roommate can be a little clumsy sometimes. So I'm going to figure this out. But this is what I came up with for my dry goods that I will be using all the time. Is those containers. And I'm not going to waste these considering I did get these at Target. They're not bad, but eventually these will be going into my pantry closet, and I'm just going to have all OXOs, and then in the pantry I'm going to use the ones that have the lever type of lock. But yeah, so that's kind of how I do it. All glass. This is the only plastic that I will use. That's how I keep my tea bags, and then I have extra jars up there, real big ones. And behind those two is my iced tea. I'm echoing because I'm in this kitchen. I have my big iced tea container up there. I think that holds 2 gallons of homemade iced tea. So that will be coming out soon as the weather gets nice. And then I showed you up there how I keep peppercorns and salts in those metal glass containers, I guess you want to call it. So I was getting asked a lot of questions about how I store my cake flour, my bread flour, my whole wheat, my corn, you know, all that type of stuff. And this is it, my friends. This is how I keep it because it's airtight. And this is how I keep just some odds and ends, chocolate chips, nuts, M&Ms, some assorted nuts, some dehydrated. Majority of my dehydrated stuff is downstairs. I still have some scattered in the dining room. But I will come back and show you how I will give you a tour of my spice cabinet. So, because I have to kind of straighten it up a little bit too. So, I guess as I pull it all out, I mean, I kind of straightened it, not for YouTube, but I kind of went through it when I filled it all up. But it could probably use a little bit of a straightening up. So, I will pull everything out and show you what I've been doing before mason jars became really popular for like a decor around your house, like a decoration. Well, I mean, they're really popular in the canning world, obviously, and they're really hard to come by these days. And it's just so weird because 15 years ago, I started collecting all mason jars and like mason jar lanterns. And if you could think of it, I had it. That's why those orange ones that have the M&Ms and the nuts in there, that was in my living room because my living room at my house was like beige, brown, and then like a burnt orange type of color. And they were literally on my coffee table. So they were put in a dishwasher. Now I'm using them for nuts, cranberries, and M&Ms. And I'm using some of the ball plastic lids for the nuts. So yeah, I was asked to do this video. It's very simple. And that is to just get yourself, I mean, you want my opinion, none of the other containers do I like at all. I love the OXO containers. The lids stay on much better. They're very easy to open when you're baking. It's like literally 2 fingers. You know, I just feel like some of the other lids are a little bit complicated. Glass jars are great. I obviously have them. And I keep my sugar, which is a 25-pound bag, in that big jar. It just gets really heavy, so you need to know that. If you have arthritis or anything like that, you might not want to go that way. But I go through a lot of sugar once I start making homemade sweet tea here in this house. So I think that's going to be a permanent thing for my sugar. Unless the OXO comes out with a real big one for their sugar, then I might not use that for my sugar at all. But this is where I'm at. This is, I guess, what I've gotten done so far. And that's just how I organize my semolinas, my bread flour, my all-purpose flour, my corn flour, my whole wheat, cake flour, things of that nature. And that's just by using the OXOs and a few odd and ends. But the few odd and end ones will eventually end up in the new pantry closet here in the kitchen. Which, no, I'll show you. If you don't believe me, it is not done. I just can't seem to complete a single solitary job. This is the pantry closet. You see, I do have some of these containers in here. This is OXO, and it's labeled, this is for angel hair. That one is for linguine. So I do love those containers. And then these are the other ones I bought. I think it's this one. It's going to make a liar out of me now. I was so mad because one of these wouldn't stay locked. Not sure which one it is, or unless I threw it out. But anyway, my pantry is a whole other story. Maybe I'll do like a come clean with me pantry type of. I got to get this organized, but I need more of these containers. And yeah, so I do not have that done at all. But this video is about how I store all my dry goods, salt, pepper, things of that. So I hope that this was helpful. This is just my opinion on how I do it and what containers I like better, and that's the OXOs. I probably should have asked for them for Christmas. I wasn't thinking of it because I have a gazillion things on my mind. So for me, I'm going to stay with the OXOs, and like I said, if I can find a really big OXO that can hold 25 pounds of sugar, then I may not use my glass jar, but glass and the OXO is pretty much how I store all of my dry stuff, including my tea bags. So that's my video. This is in my kitchen. This is my working pantry, my working kitchen, and my storage for my preps and other things are downstairs. I did a quick tour on that. You can go back and take a look, but things are still a hot mess, believe me when I tell you. So I hope that that was helpful, everyone. Hopefully I answered the questions accordingly. But I love you. Like, share, subscribe, and you know, food's really expensive, so you don't want it to go stale or stagnant or get anything in it. So that's why I recommend the OXO. They're not paying me. I just love them. So I store everything in the plastic containers and the glass jars that I showed you and mason jars. But I love you all. I will catch you all in the next video. Like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.